The Backforty is back again. Welcome back, everybody. We're back into the backwoods of Whitworth University together. In case no one remembered that, that's where the Backforty is, and that's where we are now. So, yeah, welcome back. It's been quite a week last week, and it's just kind of a crazy time right now for both of us. Yep. You know, Anthony and I just visited him in Philly, and yes, I know all the fans out there are going to be so disappointed. We did not record an episode out there because we hate you.
Yeah.
No,
on the least of our priority.
Exactly. No, actually, we were just so busy and tired, we forgot to do it, and that was that. So, apologies to everybody, but we're gonna go into the trip a little bit and try to keep this a short one. So, just jump in a little bit. Yeah. So, let's see. It wasn't this last weekend, but the weekend before that, I was in Philly, correct? April 14th and 15th. Yeah. So that was a good, you tell me, Anthony, like, how did you feel I experienced Philly? Like, did I get the full experience? Did I
think you got most of it.
Yeah.
I think you got most of it. Like, yeah, I mean, we stayed pretty much around Temple's campus.
Yeah.
And then just in Center City a bit. And we ventured off to University City, I think, once, which is where UPenn is. We didn't actually walk around UPenn, but Drexel and UPenn are kind of on the other side of the river. So, yeah, I think you saw most of the stuff. The only thing, and probably it's better, too, I don't think you didn't see too much sketchy stuff. Maybe like glimpses of it at night, driving by. But for the most part, I think it was pretty tame. While
I saw nothing crazy. Here. I saw nothing crazy, and to be honest with you, I think I saw more crazy in North Vegas than I did in Philly. Which I understand. I understand that it's a bit nuanced there. It's like a lot of the crazy or the violence or whatever happens between people who know each other or like have heard of each other. In Philly.
Exactly.
And that's why it's so dangerous. Yeah. But again, like Anthony said, we were on Temple campus the entire time, or we were downtown, which is very historical and very nice. To be honest with you, man, I thought Philly was just like a really clean, nice city, and it's not too bad, right? Yeah. The vibe you get from the internet and from like people who talk about it, it's like, it's a hellhole, but you go there and it's like, there's some nice parts of the city. And you got the historical parts and you got good restaurants and it's fun. So I thought it was pretty, but I gotta say, I was pretty freaked out on the plane ride over because I got in at like 12:30 at night, and I got off my plane, and I was kind of like rushing to get to like the Uber location and all this kind of stuff. So I get all my stuff off the plane and I come out to like where I get my lift. Right. And I'm trying to I don't think I told you this part. I was trying to like activate the lift. I was trying to hey, give me a priority lift or whatever. I'm trying to get out of here and get to my location because it's late. I didn't want to be hanging out outside late. And so the location it wasn't correct for like the first it kept glitching out and I couldn't like press the right location because there's multiple lift locations at the airport.
Right.
And so it wasn't being fast enough and I was nervous and there was some people around, but not a lot of people. And so I was freaking out. And I eventually got the priority lift and the guy was super nice. And that it was just cool. It was a cool ride in, and I felt way less nervous once I was in this guy's car, and I was on the way to Temple. So it was actually like once I experienced it, I felt so much better about being in town. Yeah, so I don't know. It was just
glad.
Yeah. Your mind hypes you up a little bit, and then you realize
for sure.
I had nothing to be afraid of. You know,
based off of like a couple episodes ago when I was sitting here and there's stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, even right now, there's like sirens going crazy. I don't know what's going on, but I think the other thing too, maybe I should have been, or that I should have mentioned before if I haven't already, is like pretty much any, I think, bigger metropolitan city you go to, there's gonna be stuff going on, and but yeah, I'm glad that you saw the good in Philly too. Maybe I don't talk about that enough, but it was funny because I was thinking about it as my time is dwindling down here. I think I have only really a couple more weeks left. This week was the last week of classes, so I have a concert later tonight, and it's going to be my last Temple concert. And it's weird because I feel like a lot of different kind of emotions and feelings towards it. That like I've met a lot of great people here, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit. But you got to meet some of my good friends from the Philly area that I've become really close with, and I think as much as the craziness like sometimes is overwhelming, I think I'm really, really grateful that I've gotten to be here for a short couple years, 4 semesters, and really soak in just kind of a different environment and a different side of the country than what I was used to. So I'm really glad that it worked out the way it did. And what were some of the highlights, do you think, of highlights for you?
Well, number one, I think it was just seeing you was really cool to reconnect and like, not reconnect, but you know what I mean? Like, to hang out and go out to some restaurants and bars and stuff. That was kind of the goal, but the highlight of the trip itself with like, like I said, I love history. I love anything that's got some value to it and some like, I don't know, something that's, not just thrown together for money, which is mostly what Vegas is, like some thought and some culture. Right. So Philly kind of scratched that itch a little bit, and that was fun for me, to see, the town hall in the middle. And then we went to like Independence Hall, which was super small. Now that
do you remember how we got in there? You want to tell the viewers?
Yeah. So, I mean, we didn't plan it at all, really. We were just kind of like, hey, let's go see Independence Hall. Or whatever, Independence Square or whatever. And so we go and we saw the Liberty Bell, and then we went and like, we're like, hey, let's go walk inside Independence Hall, the first where they signed the Declaration of Independence and all that. And we go and the tours, you have to like schedule them ahead of time, and they're like $1. And we're like, I mean, screw that. We're not gonna pay $1 and then wait 40 minutes to get into a tour. Like, let's just kind of slip in here. And so there was this point. I think about it, I feel so mean. Like there was this park. They were park rangers. And it was this old woman, like I gotta say like 70 at least, right? Like very sweet, just doing her job, cares about the environment, right? Like the Independence Hall Park and all that. And she's like asking people if they have like their tickets and stuff. And we noticed, she's kind of just like letting people go in without really requiring them to see their tickets. And so we're like, okay, let's give it a shot. Let's try to go in. And so we're like, I don't know. We walk up and we're like, hey, we're here for the 1:00 tour or whatever. And we just kind of keep walking. And she goes, you guys have your tickets? We're like, oh yeah, it's on our phone. Like, hold on, let me pull it up. And we're both we both fake scramble to find our tickets on our phone, which don't exist. And then she's like, she's so sweet. she was like, "Oh, I believe you guys. Don't worry. Go on ahead." And I'm I'm like, we are assholes, dude. We are such assholes. Like, we're like, pulling one over on this sweet old woman who's trusting us, so that was,
we were totally lying too.
Yeah, which, to be fair, it's $1 and it's like a 30-minute tour, if that, might have been 20 minutes.
20. I got this idea because when Emily and Stacy were here to visit a few weeks ago, it's been like a month now, actually, over a month since they were here, which is insane to think about. But when they were here, we also did the same thing, and they just like didn't check they didn't check the tickets at all. So like, I just assumed it's like, oh, it's probably fine. But,
which it was fine.
It was cool.
Yeah. So I mean, it was cool to see the history of that. Like, and what's the funniest part is, like, you remember, or it clicks. Like, these are just regular dudes. They weren't like, they're not like these legends of the past or whatever. They're literally like just regular guys with their own interests, and emphasis on guys because there was no equality back then, right? Like, it was like, and they would talk about like freedom while having slaves and all that kind of shit. Like, it was weird. It's weird to like connect those dots. But the vision they set up, that's what we're trying to go after. Anyway, that was cool. Philadelphia Museum of Art. Fantastic.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was fantastic. And we probably saw most of it, if not all of it.
I think we saw like at least 80%.
Yeah, and that was cool for me. I really like museums and stuff, like I said. So those are highlights. And then kind of just meeting your friends was, they were cool. I like them a lot. Like, I hope they watch it. Like,
Like, no, I'll send them this episode for sure. I don't even think I've told them like fully about the podcast, so I should probably do that.
Yeah, just send it their way. We'll start getting more viewers.
Yeah, exactly.
But
get up to like 30, 40.
Exactly, 30, 40. No, it was cool. It was cool to hang out with them. And one of the things I remember telling you was, I mean, we went out for some drinks and stuff, obviously, and the next morning I woke up, I was like, I feel so old. And how, like, why do I feel so shitty and hungover after, 2 beers and a whiskey with a bunch of food and stuff? Like, what's wrong with me? And I felt so old, and we didn't really even stay up that late, like, like it was kind of funny to experience that. It was more adult. It was more adulty. It wasn't collegey,
You can't do it like I remember
I can't go nuts.
But you can't go nuts. And like at Whitworth, I remember there's some nights we'd be up in the it's like 2-3 a.m. just like going ham and like not going to bed till 4. Like, I would simply pass away if we did that. I think most nights we were in bed before like 1.
I know, dude. Like,
maybe like 1:30. So
I felt the same way. I'm like, and maybe it's a good thing that we're not like staying up crazy late.
We're not like raging alcohol.
Yeah, but it was interesting to me to like, it was interesting to me that, like, our priorities have changed, and we're like, we could do that if we wanted, but it was more like, well, we got stuff to do tomorrow, and we want to experience this without feeling like shit the entire weekend. So that was that part. So yeah, man, but those were the highlights of the trip. And then we actually saw, so you had your concert, which I actually didn't realize it was like Temple's like jazz faculty that was playing. I thought you guys were like partnering for whatever reason with somebody like other musicians, but no, you like it was your actual faculty, and they're like world renowned kind of faculty. Yes. And I just gotta say that was some of the most, like, and I'm not gonna act like I know jazz, okay? Yeah, like I'm not a aficionado or whatever, but that was some of the most like impressive. I don't know, just the music, the way they could make music was so impressive, and I could really feel like they knew the top stuff. Like I was thinking about trying to play it myself. I'd be like, holy shit, like I can't do any of this, and that's how I felt. So it was cool to see like professionals who are really good at their craft in action, especially the trumpet guy, whatever his name was.
Carol Stafford. Yeah, he's the head of the entire music department here.
Seriously?
Yeah,
man, he's a legend. Yeah. How was your experience playing like clarinet in a jazz sort of orchestra setting?
Like it's a little bit different because you're really just more of a supportive role, like the woodwind section, string section. As a whole, you're just kind of like, you create almost like a layer of support and cushion and color for the soloist. So maybe some of those viewers out there, maybe some of you are a little more familiar with jazz, but so we had Bill Cunliffe commission a piece for the orchestra. He's like a Grammy award-winning composer, and he actually is he lives in California, kind of the LA. I think Cal State Fullerton. I want to say is where he is on faculty, but he's a big jazz name, and so he wrote a piece that features the faculty little trio quartet soloing, and then Billy Childs, who's a very famous jazz composer who also is friends with like Terrell and some of the other faculty. He also commissioned a piece for us, so we played that. I was only on the Cunliffe, not on the Childs. And then the other piece we played wasn't a jazz piece, but it was Ginastera dances and Estancia dances, and so that was our opener. And that was just kind of like more of a normal orchestral piece, but it was still kind of groovy. I had a lot of percussion.
Yeah. There was some jungle themes throughout like at the end too. Did you get to that one already?
That was the Cunliffe.
Yeah,
so
Cunliffe.
That was called Rainforest. That's why that cool. There's some cool stuff going on. But yeah, I mean, the other cool thing is, so we're playing at Jazz at the Lincoln Center, which obviously famous place in Rose Hall, because there's actually a bunch of different little recital halls in a building in Manhattan.
It's in New York, which was the coolest thing.
Yes.
Really. That was super cool. Go ahead. Sorry.
Which is not that far away. Spencer took the bus. I was able to get him a little comp ticket, so he got hooked up with the bus ride there and back.
It's legit.
With, some other.
Yeah, it was like a chartered, really nice bus. It was really awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what did you think of Manhattan? Because it was kind of a two for one. Really
honestly, that was just, I felt so much energy there. It was just, it felt alive. It felt like, I don't know. It was just like a really, really interesting city, clearly. It's freaking New York. But I had never experienced both Philly and New York, but like people living and walking around and living their lives like in the middle of a city. I've never experienced that. Like, like I live most of my life in the suburbs, right? And Vegas is not really like a place people live downtown. People go downtown to vacation, get crazy, right? It's like an adult playground, and then some people live near it, right? But most people who live in Vegas live a little bit outside the city, and they'll might live in some apartment buildings or whatever, but they're not going to live in the casinos, right? So downtown is an entertainment thing. So I had never experienced like, people literally live their lives in apartments in the city, and that's very, and I've never experienced that. I'm like a little small town kid almost, and
that's how it was for me too growing up. So even like, they call, a lot of people sometimes refer to Philly as like a mini New York, because it's not nearly as big, but in like the downtown area, you get kind of a similar vibe of, there's a lot of people walking around, a lot of energy.
Yeah, it was really cool. What? Sorry?
I said different characters on the street.
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. No, so I got off the bus and I instantly I started speed walking to locations because I wanted to see as much as possible. I only had like an hour or an hour and a half or something to do stuff before we met up and got some food and stuff. So I went and saw like Times Square, which, by the way, Times Square is totally Vegas-y to me. Like it's just lights and ads, and I was like, oh, I've seen this kind of stuff. Okay, so that was cool. But like walking around and seeing the big ass buildings, and then seeing like the Rockefeller Center and NBC and the St. Patrick's. So that was just really cool to see some of those sites. I didn't see the Empire State yet. That was too far. And bucket list for me is seeing the World Trade Center Memorial and then the One World Trade Center. I definitely want to go like see that and the Statue of Liberty. But so I didn't get to do the full New York experience, but I got to experience kind of upper Manhattan, and that was just really, really fun. So yeah. And Central Park is beautiful. That was cool to see all that. Man, I don't know. New York was really cool. And
New York's
got a hot dog, you know, like,
oh, you didn't tell me you got a hot dog. Maybe you did. I just forgot.
Nah, maybe I said it in passing, but yeah, like I got a New York hot dog and walked around in my suit because we were going, you know, I felt really like, this is totally not me, but it was fun, you know, like it was fun to like live it a little bit. But then we went and got some food, and that was fantastic. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm glad you had a good time. It went by really fast, and like even now, it doesn't seem like it seems like you were here a long time ago. But I know. It also feels like you were just here yesterday. Because at least for me, things have been just moving extremely fast. It's just been so busy. So
yeah, dude. Next episode we have that's not as short. Like we got a lot to catch up on in our lives because there's some craziness going on, which is
I bet.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But yeah, no, New York, and then the trip in general just was. I think it was a major success. And I'm really glad I did it. You know, I'm really glad
I'm glad you came out. It was super fun, and you know.
So what's next for you, man? For the viewers, I obviously know what's next for you.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm moving back to Spokane eventually. First, I'm going to go home for a little bit, and just going to start the next chapter. It's a little scary because I mean, a lot of my close friends, you guys have already been in this position, like out of school for good, at least for the time being. But I'm sure you know it's you know, you're doing online school for a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but still, like you're definitely more of a adulting position than I think I've been in a.
I wouldn't say that.
I've been there yet, so
I live in my parents' casita, bro. So
you're married and all that. So come on.
No, I get what you're saying.
Just gonna kind of figure it out as time goes on, and hopefully things like fall in place and stuff.
It's a weird time, man. It really is. And I keep hearing like things online, and then people talking like, you know, you and I are both 24.
Yeah.
And I think like I don't know if this is you, but my mind's always like, oh, time's running out.
Yeah.
You know, like I gotta do something big or get on a good path to something or, you know, make a mark, make an impact, kind of that mentality. You know, and this is crazy. One of Jordan's like elementary school classmates, you actually might know his name. I think it's Dalton Kincaid. He's a tight end. He got drafted. He got drafted. 25th, first round draft. Yeah. 23 years old. Tight end from Utah. Yeah, Dalton Kincaid. Like literally like a classmate and friend of Jordan's when she was in elementary school. And both of us, like, we read this thing and then we look around us at our like little like our little casita. Yeah. We have no money. This guy signed like a multi-million-dollar deal. I don't know how much his rookie contract is, but like, you know, it was just crazy and weird. And we both it was so funny. We both silently were just kind of like, damn, like it's weird the paths people go on. And I think both of us kind of really thought about like, wow, what if our lives were a little different? You know, like not in a bad way. I don't want to say like we both were like, we talked about it. Like we're both like really grateful for where we're at. But it was just, you know, it was weird. Like, this guy that Jordan knew is now a professional football player, you know, for the Buffalo Bills. And so I kept, but then I keep hearing online like, oh, I wish I was 24 again. I wish I was 27 again. Like,
exactly. People really value this time, right?
Exactly. And I'm like, oh, I'm not even that old. Like, you know, like people look back as this is like their young moment. Like, and that doesn't click with me. Like people who are like 40 are like, yeah, I wish I was, people who are 40 are like, I wish I was 35 again, you know, like, like that's young for them. And I can't think that way. So I don't know if that's where you're at, but.
No, I have a similar thing because I always like when I talk, especially with older people, even like, you know, my friends from here who are just a couple years, some of them a couple years older than me. Man, I feel old. Like, you feel old. I'm almost 30.
Yeah.
So it's like, I definitely think it puts things in perspective that, you know, there's never there's this one kind of like cheesy, forgot who it was. I think it's actually a Judge Judy like quote, which I know all people judge Judy, but she's, you don't make it in your 20s, you know, you'll make it in your 30s. You don't make it in your 30s, you can make it in your 40s. You don't make it in your 40s, you can make it in your 50s. You don't make it in your 50s, there's so much time.
I know.
But there's also so little time. But it's all about like, you know, your perspective and like your priorities and your goals. So like, you know, time can go by fast, I think, if you well, actually, I don't know. It's a complicated subject. I was going to say time can go by fast if you're not, you know, maybe not progressing as much. But sometimes if you are progressing a lot, it seems like time goes by super fast too, because things are just constantly happening. So it just depends.
It's a weird life, man. Yeah, it's a balance.
There's times where it feels like it's going a million miles and times where it feels like each minute is an eternity. So
yeah, man. No, Jordan and I are going to be celebrating our 1 year anniversary in a couple months.
That's crazy. So
literally like 3 months.
One thing I wanted to mention going off of that too in this episode. So I just had a memory pop up literally because Temple, we started a week late or something. So we were kind of like almost done by this time.
Yeah.
So Friday the 28th, this is 1 year ago today, I flew to Spokane to go to our buddy James's wedding. So Katie and James.
That's crazy.
Approaching their.
Yeah. What was their date?
Saturday, right? Or Sunday?
Yeah, it was that Saturday. So what, the 30th?
Yeah.
Something like that? That's crazy. So. We'll have to text James. So, that's crazy, dude.
We will. Happy anniversary to him. But that was already a year ago. And I remember
good God,
that started the gauntlet of weddings.
Oh my God, I know.
This summer. But it's just, man, it's insane. It really doesn't feel like that was a long time ago. But
I know.
I also feel like a ton has happened and a lot of good things have fallen into place too. So,
that's the other thing. It's like, you know, we both might get in that headset of like, oh, what's going on with our lives, that kind of stuff. But if we look at it objectively, like neither of us, and I would say most of the people we know that we're close with are like, neither of us, we're not like settling for a certain existence, you know, like I think there's some, like goals and a drive, you know, and there's progress towards something, you know, like there's 100%. Most of the time that exists with people we know. And I would say for you and me, for sure, like there's not a resting on our laurels mentality. And I think that's a good thing, you know?
I do too.
Yeah. It's like
100%.
When I get into zones of like not feeling motivated, I look back and I'm like, oh, I've already come this far. Why don't I just keep going, keep pushing, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. I I completely agree with that sentiment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to go back to this
Go for it.
wedding
No.
thing.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, as we were saying it too, because it popped in my memories. So I had last year at this time, I had a final due for a class that I was taking. And so literally, because I'm remembering it now, because it was a Friday, or maybe I guess it was a Saturday. Either way, it doesn't matter that much. I hopped on the plane with like maybe 2 hours of sleep. I don't even think I hardly slept. And literally, I flew from Philadelphia to, I want to say, Salt Lake City or Denver. And then I think it was Salt Lake City. From Philly to Salt Lake to Spokane. And then literally I got there to Spokane in the afternoon. We had James's bachelor party the same day.
Yeah.
I got there.
Holy shit.
You were already there because you were helping Jordan move?
Yes.
Or am I remembering incorrectly?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. So you were up there, I think, prior for a little bit. But so like we got there, and I remember James picked me up from the airport, and
you're dead ass tired.
Time difference and like all this stuff, and then we like went ham. And I remember meeting some of his San Diego friends, and that was a crazy time.
We like,
and then I ran a
crawled
5K the next morning.
Yeah.
So,
bro, you're insane.
Talk about being it was funny though.
I've always admired about you, Anthony, is you have such a tenacity. Even when like, you feel like shit, you're like, I'm gonna go run, or I'm gonna get up early and do that. You're just crazy, man.
I know, but some of it actually, I think I need to take it easy. I've taken it more easy.
That's good.
But,
that's good.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of funny though. Like, I was just like, I'm gonna run this 5K because I decided I wanted to.
It was like a Whitworth one, right?
Yeah,
or like a spring. I don't know.
It was a Whitworth one, and literally, I remember like walking up the Backforty hill, because like the first like mile and a half or almost 2 miles are just going down into the Backforty area. Backforty podcast.
There we go.
But then, the shitty part about the Backforty, not the podcast, but the actual Backforty, is that once you go down, you have to go back up.
Yeah.
And so it's like we have this program at Whitworth called The Heat, and they just do a lot of like health stuff and fitness stuff or whatever. And so it's organized by them. And it's called the Scallywag 5K. So every year the course, I think, is very similar. So
yeah.
Anyways, at the end you got to like go up this giant ass hill, and I remember being like hungover. I like threw up just like right before it too, because I was like, I just drank straight cold brew, and that was like sitting in my stomach bad, and I was like, so I just hopped in there and like raced it. It was crazy time.
You're crazy, bro. And you're running off like,
I think I could do that again.
10 hours of sleep in the last 2 days. So, or less.
Yeah. It was a fun weekend, but, it's crazy.
See, we didn't relive that when I came to Philly. It was way more subdued, No. That was a college thing,
It was, I think. Yeah. I mean, I say that, and I'm sure there's going to be some times.
Oh, bro. No. Yeah. We had a purpose. Exactly. We had, and it was a quick ass trip for me, and it was, we had a lot to do, right? 100%. But when there's another wedding in the future, someone's wedding or whatever, like, there you go. That's when you regret all your life choices the next day,
Exactly.
Oh man. All right. Well, I should let you go because you gotta get going. I think is that right?
Yeah.
You almost done now?
I gotta get ready for this. We got a little sound check, so I need to actually like go shower and stuff. But this is a good little short one, and then I'm assuming we'll record one more with me in Philly. It'll be like my last.
It'll be your last Philly episode, and then you know what? We can reflect on your entire experience. It'll be like maybe an Anthony,
it'll be a good long one.
An Anthony experience in Philly, and prepare some like deep insights. How about that?
I will.
Like what you got from this whole trip, which you told 100%. Me a lot of it already, but I hear you.
Yeah.
So all right. Any last remarks for today?
I'm good, man.
Cool. I'm gonna start doing some recommendations in the future, but not today because I have none.
Yeah.
But all right, man. Well, if you're watching, thank you for watching and sticking with us at the Backforty. If you like it, give it a like. If you want to subscribe. You know, like, and there's a little notification bell, let you know when we post, however rarely. Yeah, give it a share, all that good stuff, all the YouTube stuff, you know. So yeah. All right, we'll see you guys later. Peace.